there's two problems. One, it wasn't working accurately, and two, we never use it, so everybody's afraid of it. So we're just going to quickly go through it. I recommend that sometime when you're in clinic, grab myself and we'll walk through it. Okay, so.
Are you going to pee in it?
No, I pee out the sink to the peeing. So anyways, next is just a picture of our Euroflow. This is the handheld sensor. This is the toilet sensor, and this is the docking station.
What did we name it, Renee?
Oh, Sybil, because it's got many personalities, just like Sybil. All right, so the parts of the Euroflow we just talked about. We've got the toilet sensor here that goes in. We've got our handheld unit, and we've got our, basically it's a charging unit for the toilet sensor. So you're going to pick up the handheld. Why don't you go back to the other page, and I'll just go off the pictures. Okay, so you're going to pick up the handheld sensor and the toilet sensor. You're going to place, and you're going to push this button one time. You're always keeping these two within 10 feet of each other, which is fine when you're walking over there. You're going to place the toilet sensor into the toilet. You're going to put the funnel on, which I do not have a picture of, with the green dot towards the front. All right, once you push this button once, you're going to see an arrow come up. It's going to circle around. Takes a couple of seconds. Then it's going to go to a 0. Once it goes to a 0, it's ready for the patient to come in and urinate. They can sit, they can stand, doesn't matter. They're going to aim for the green dot.
And it beeps.
It beeps. Yeah, but if you miss the beep, just look. If it says 0, it's ready for the patient to pee. Okay, once the patient has finished, you're going to go back into the room. You're going to pick up the unit. This time, they do no longer have to stay within 10 feet of each other. You're going to pick up the unit. You're going to push it once. Again, it's going to cycle around, and it's going to tell you the voided amount and the peak flow. Always a good idea to write those two things down just in case the machine fails, because then at least you've got the peak flow and the voided volume. And key is, do not let the patient flush the toilet. When they have finished urinating, if they flush the toilet, it's going to null the test out. In fact, I use that excuse on more than one occasion with Dr. Chelsky when the unit actually failed and the patient flushed the toilet, because I wasn't going to tell them that the machine failed again. All right, so once you get that, you're going to hold down the button again, and this little speaker is going to come up. You're going to speak the patient's last name, first name, date of birth. I don't care. You just need to say something. Once you let go of the button, it's going to repeat back to you what you said. By doing that, it's saving that test into the handheld unit, and you cannot lose it. Before we were losing tests, okay? So once you do that, you're going to walk over to the docking station. You're going to dock it. It should automatically start to download. It's going to turn the screen red and tell you not to remove the unit because it's communicating. And it should automatically take you to this website. If that does not happen, if you hit the reset button on the back of the handheld unit, it is doing it, and I don't know why, but it will then send your test through. So there's still some quirks. Every piece of this equipment has been replaced. They say that part of it has to do with our internet speed. I don't know, but it has worked for me every time if I have to hit the reset button. So then the test that you just ran is going to be the top test here. You can go ahead and click on it. At that time, it's going to let you customize. You can put in the patient ID, the patient name, the operator, the physician, if you want. You can come over here and click your gender. Was it a normal void for them? Were they sitting or standing? All the other information that you need to fill into the dot phrase is going to be up here. At this time, then you're going to go ahead and print 2 copies of it. And down in the bottom corner here, there's a print button. I've been doing 2 copies. That way I can give one to the provider right away and give one to the PSR so they can scan it in. The downside to doing it this way compared to the way we used to do it is it does not just flow into Epic because it goes to the website. With the old one, we could then flow it through that media manager right into Epic. And then you're going to do your dot phrase, and you're going to fill in all this information up here. Once you're done, another downfall to the Euroflow is if they need a urine specimen, you can't get one. So for some reason, the provider has to have a urine specimen. We have to use one off the CMG machine, in which case you can come get Becca or myself, or Stacy because she's training, and we would use that unit as a separate unit for it.
Or me, you can get.
Okay,
I'll
you
help
know
you.
too? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I suppose there's no reason why you could not take our unit and put it on the commode and just run the test that way and collect your urine specimen. We haven't had an issue with it because if they've got a UTI, we don't want a Euroflow, it's not going to be accurate, but if you did need one, that's what you'd want to do. All right, let's go to the next page. All right, so then you're going to take the sensor out, the toilet sensor out, put it in the sink. You're just going to run water through it. I mean, copious amounts of water. We don't sterilize it, but obviously we don't want it to get stinky. So we're going to go ahead and run a bunch of hot water through it. When you're done, you're just going to dry it off a little bit and dock it on. There's only one way to dock it. There's a hole on the docking station, and the toilet sensor just sits right on there. All right. So like we talked about, you can't get a urine specimen. And I'll use the other one if you do. Pretty much gonna hold all that. Tips and tricks, push the reset button before each exam. You shouldn't have to. I think the reason that we do it is because we use it so infrequently that it's a good idea to hit that reset button to make sure that everything is working. Keep the hand sensor and the toilet sensor within 10 feet of each other until the test is done. Do not let the patient flush the toilet. Press the reset button if the exam doesn't automatically load. And if all else fails, take it to the rough and drop kick it. Because this urine machine has been the death of me and Lori. We've been a lot with this urine flow. The ones in Shawano Pack are totally different units. They work differently. The advantage to this was that it could flow into Epic, and now we're not using that. But it's a brand new unit at this point, so we're going to continue to use it. And my favorite one is nice.
Thanks, Renee.
Yep,
Good
and
job.
there's a
Good
test.
job, Jason.
And then